Good evening and welcome back to Tarot Tats and Tea. I'm going to be doing a review of a book that I briefly shown on my previous video, and the book is The Living Tarot. Now, The Living Tarot is written by Susan Chang, who also wrote Tarot Correspondences and who wrote Tarot Correspondences and co-wrote the Tarot Deciphered with M.M. Moline. And to me, those two books, along with Benabel Wen's Holistic Tarot, with Mary Kay Greer's Tarot for Yourself, and a number of other books, rate high on my list, almost like tarot Bibles. In amongst them, I'd also put Tom Benjamin's Tarot on Earth and Tarot Toolkit. They are two very handy books as well, and great for dipping in and out of, particularly the Tarot on Earth if you are looking for a book that will help you to read Marseille. Now, this particular book that I'm looking at today is The Living Tarot, as I've said, and I came across it purely by accident, and it was whilst I was browsing, obviously, on the shopping channel, and I thought, oh, that looks really quite good. And the fact that it was written by Susan Chang was another reason that it drew my interest. As you can see, I already have it all marked, okay? And these are the parts that I'm going to be going through myself, and these are the ones that I want to highlight to you, with some of these maybe just being dip in and dip out chapters for myself. However, they will also be chapters I may choose to delve deeper into, and I'll tell you why as we go on. Let me read the blurb for you on the back. Discover how tarot reflects life and life reflects tarot. This beginner-friendly book reveals how to find personal everyday meanings in all 78 tarot cards. No more memorizing predetermined definitions. Now you'll learn to see, breathe and feel the tarot wherever you turn. Susan Chang demonstrates how to associate each card with your personal experiences rather than consulting a list of abstract concepts. With her guidance, you can teach yourself to read tarot and develop your own correspondences, keywords and more. Chang takes the popular card of the day draw to a new level of mastery and usefulness, encouraging you to fully engage with tarot until you know the shape and personality of every card. She also presents tarot magic, ethics, rituals, multi-card spreads and new techniques for asking questions. You'll always know what each card means because you won't just draw it, you'll also live it. And that's quite a write-up. Now, at the beginning of this, it says the beginner-friendly book. It is very much beginner-friendly, but I wouldn't say that it's solely for beginners, because this is something that I would find extremely useful as someone who's been reading for a number of years, to refresh, to give myself that going back over stuff and reminding myself, because although, you know, we develop our own styles and we develop our own correspondences with the cards, and we also develop our own relationship with the cards, but sometimes maybe it's something we skipped, whether it's symbols, whether it's something that at the time we chose not to do, i.e. reading reversals, or if it's something, if there's just a general way of associating the tarot to everyday living. And to be honest with you, it's something that gives us the opportunity to view tarot through fresher eyes, just something different, and it really is so easy to follow. Now, I've marked this book, as I've said, to show you different aspects of it. Now, here, the first part that I'm going to go to here, it's going straight in at chapter 1. I'll just jump back for a second. In the contents page, it tells you that chapter 1 covers card of the day, chapter 2 tarot backwards, chapter 3 tarot forwards. Then there's an interlude, upside down and inside out, all about reversals. Chapter 4, this I believe. Chapter 5, ask a question. Chapter 6, design a spread. Chapter 7, rituals, ethos, praxis. Chapter 8, Tarot Magic. And under each chapter you will see that there are all these here are all tasks that you have to take part in, or you don't have to, but you can take part in order to just deepen your knowledge or refresh your memory or just practice just because you can. Now, I marked up in here, and as you know, I do tend to mark my books, which goes against the grain for some people, but for me it's what I do. And there's something here that learning tarot is like learning a language. Card of the day provides a solid foundation for integrating tarot into the architecture of your life. These are just some things that I've highlighted along the way. So in chapter 1, there's an exercise called Psychic Buzz. Okay, Psychic Buzz exercise, and basically you are asked to write your feelings, how something makes you feel. So if something in your past has made you feel happy, joyous, excited, and total awe and wonder and sheer joy, how did it actually physically make you feel? So adrenaline rush, shaky, on a high, pins and needle tingles, that sort of thing. And then take a moment to think of something that you detest, something that you really can't stand. For example, if you don't like, here Susan has put cheddar cheese. Some people don't like feet. Think about that. How does that make you feel? Uncertain. You think about something that's uncertain, unpleasant, nervousness, breaking out in a sweat, a bit sick, maybe a bit headachy, that sort of thing. And so what you're being asked to do is associate feelings to the tarot. Now, there's an exercise that I love in here. I'm not going to go right through it. You take a look at some of the darker cards in tarot. So for instance, if we're taking up, let me just grab a card, see here. Now, do you know, earlier on I did have these cards ready, but then I went and shuffled them because I was reading with them, and hey ho, the cards I want aren't all in order. So for instance, you're asked to take one of the darker cards in tarot. In this section, the sort of daunting dark cards, okay, and you're asked to try and find the bright side of these cards. So in this exercise you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 darker cards. Okay, so daunting or dark cards: the 10 of Swords, the Devil, the Tower, 5 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords, 9 of Swords, and the 5 of Cups. And you get a space to write alongside each card. So for instance, our 10 of Swords, you get a set of questions, or like a little question or a guiding, something to guide your train of thought. So for instance, why is there light on the horizon? Where's the blood? If the swords are thoughts, what happens next? So I know the first one was, why is there a horizon, a bright light horizon? But before I address that part, let's look here. I always thought that was a cloak, but the closer I look, here we have, you see the blood by the head here and here, and by each piercing of the sword you can see blood. It's a darker shade there. But then this is too fluid to be a cape or a gown. I took it that it's a wave has come in and washed over him, turning the water red. And this is the sea, so sea water. Therefore it's healing, cleansing, enabling somebody to get out of this dark time that they're in, and this cleansing is going to wash away this darkness, and therefore this bright horizon is like a new start, a new dawn. And if these are all thoughts, are they negative thoughts that we've had about ourselves? Are they the way other people have made us feel, that we have given them the power to allow us to think that by ourselves through negative things that they may be believing, saying, or acting out on, that how they think we are? So what's if these are the thoughts, what's going to happen now? Well, our thoughts are going to become more positive. This negativity is being washed away by the healing waters. and therefore these are going to be taken out one by one and they'll disappear. It'll almost be like the Fool rising up, you know, starting again, not allowing negativity to get them down. So that is what I felt was the bright side of this card. And I wrote down here, new dawn, things getting brighter and more positive, an end in sight out of a tough time, light being shed on a problem, seeing a solution, healing waters, cleansing wounds from the past or recent hurts. A time of cleansing and solving is imminent, new thoughts and ideas to replace current issues, thus solving something that has caused you hurt or stopped progress. So that's how I've taken this, and that's how I've run with this through this chapter. I just thought it's such a great way to get us to see that the cards that we might have sort of a bit of an aversion to, or cards that are deemed to be the dark side, and typically are, but finding out how they can be read in a positive manner. Sorry, Sam is just having a good scratch and shake over here. You get to do the same with lighter cards from the tarot, such as the Sun, the Ten of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, the Three of Cups, the Nine of Cups and the Ten of Cups. But with those, you're to find their darker side. And in doing this, I feel that it's taking away that fear or reluctance to read reversals, because you're actually looking at the opposite of that card, what that card is saying. You know, you might not like to read a reversal, but when you're given this card and then you think, you know, things look pretty cruddy, don't they? And then it's upside down. Well, those swords are going to all drop out. Okay, they're all going to drop out, and hopefully you just won't fall off the ground and land back up on them. But, you know, oh, sorry, I do have a really warped sense of humour, and that wasn't really nice. I do apologise. But where was I? It makes reading reversals easier. It's a practice that I think is valuable to all of us as tarot readers, not just beginners, as I say. This moves on. We're looking about layering our card. So we're stripping it down, looking at the visual aspect of the card, the mood of the card. Okay, so the visual aspect is a little bit dark, isn't it? The mood is sort of dark and tense and atmospheric. Other people in the card, or it's other people that have created these aches and pains that we have, or is it our own mental a view of ourselves, our own psyche that has done this, body language and content, etc. So you pull it back, you strip it back, and you build and layer upon layer on your card. And what's your card trying to say? Is it a description or prediction? Is it a prescription or advice? And this is the really nice thing you can do. So I chose to do this today with my card of the day. My card of the day was... I'm being organised. My card of the day was the Magician. So what I did, I decided to try this exercise, and it was like a major brainstorm. And then you get to the end of the day and you look back. It's what time is it here now? Just bear with me. At the time now, it's 7:25 in the evening, and I'm looking back over my day. So I drew the Magician earlier on today, and the Magician, so my first, writing down the first things that came to me, what to expect. I may need to solve issues in regards to obstacles that may crop up today. I may use skills and talents that I already have to deal with issues, or I might have to use a bit of sleight of hand, because we know that Magician can use a bit of sleight of hand now and again. Work a way around an issue, either using methods of my own creativity, or delving deep and telling myself that I can do this. I've got all the tools of the trade necessary to get through whatever life may throw at me. However, whatever arises today will be overcome through my own abilities of problem solving, cheekiness, that's the Magician, sleight of hand, patience, devilishness, and perhaps just by applying a forceful hand. Now, I reflected on my day. So what did it say? Today, what have I done today? I've done a good bit today, but most of my morning was spent trying to make this video. This is actually my 5th attempt. And this is what I wrote. Trying to create a YouTube video content on a book review. Obstacles were fast and flowing. Dogs barking and whining. Camera work rubbish. Husband walking in the house and shouting, "I'm home," on the top of his voice. Did I lose my shit just a little bit? Phone not stopping with messages and calls. More furry family disruptions. And then my neighbours deciding to mow. Not just with a nice electric lawnmower that might just go zip and cut your grass, but with a big petrol monstrosity where I had to close the window because it was deafening. And I just thought, please, if you're listening to me up there, let that mower stop. And oh my good grief, it stopped. But not only did it stopped because it needed work on it. Something crapped out and they just couldn't use it. So that was my little bit of magic coming out. So how did I get around? Well, the dogs were pacified for a short while. I resolved to go back to using my iPad to film because my other cameras were crappy. There you go, I put a little note here, lost my shit when I'm home arrived. Turned off my phone, more dog pacifying, then sent out the vibes for the mower, and the vibes worked. And then I resolved to re-record later today, which I'm doing now, and I took a break, because that break, sometimes you just need to walk away from the task that we're doing and go in and say, right, I've got to try another way now, because there are so many disruptions when you're trying to sit and do something that it could actually drive you insane. So I then looked at the layering of the card. So the visual, like the magician, I'm working on at my desk using my tools, tarot, pens, books and cameras. I'm working with number one. Number one is the one on the magician, so I'm working with me, number one. Okay, not number one ever, but at this moment in time I am number one here at my desk, very similar to the magician. Like the magician, as above so below, I asked as above to shut down the mower, and so below the mower crapped out. Mood, busy, expectant, persistent, determined, and to redo if necessary. Other people, well, other people would be the disruption from hubby, the dogs barking, the neighbours, and my son was the hero coming out and quieting it all down. So there was that sort of melee, and it then just, it makes you think, wow, this card was absolutely apt that I drew earlier today. So body language, stance of openness. So the magician stands, he has the bat in the hand, the other finger pointing to the floor. And it's a stance of openness, of accepting, of asking for help from above, using tools to aid growth, using knowledge to try and put things in place to carry on in a different way. Content. So content, me, daydream of achieving the target, making the content without disruption, taking a break to do the grocery shop, relaxing before returning to the task, and deep breathing and meditation, because that does seem to lift me out of things. So did my card of the day give me a glimpse of what may happen today? Yes, it did. Did my card of the day give me advice to help me? Yes, it did. Did my card of the day invite me to see how I can help myself by looking at my patience, my ability to start again, my knowledge to guide myself? Yes, it did. So when you're getting to that point, when you pull your card of the day, the advice is take a photograph of it. And when there's a little bit of an issue or a thing, you just look at it, right? And it just makes you redirect your thought and say, okay, what would the magician do? What is he telling me to do? How is that guiding me? And it seems to work. And that's why I like this book. It's got lots of little hints and tips that even as a person who's been reading tarot for many years now, that you tend to forget, or you tend to not use, or you tend to maybe dismiss from time to time. And this is just getting you to revisit all the sort of earlier tarot day work and build on what you already have, refresh what you already have, and go on and sort of enhance what you already have. And that's all the way through this book. These chapters all have assignments and exercises that you can do to move forward and to get on with what you're doing, and to make it better, So tarot backwards. What is tarot backwards? Well, what I liked about this, why did I put that there? Just bear with me. Why did I put a marker there that I wanted to share with you? One last thing before you move on to chapter 2, it says here, don't stop journaling. Don't stop writing down your card of the day. Have it there as something you can always refer back to, because by doing that and assessing, reading your card in the morning and revisiting at night, which many of us already do who've been doing this and do tarot journal, it gives you, it becomes almost like a little dictionary of new correspondences, because you're finding out how that applied to your day, how it did or didn't, and what you can associate with those cards, making it easier to remember. And journaling is a great habit to get into, and that's the start of your tarot journaling journey. So backward and forward tarot are the beating heart of the living tarot. And so backward tarot is filling your filing cabinet, and forward tarot, you are the map maker. So this goes on to explain how backwards and forwards tarot, backwards tarot provides the content, forwards tarot provides structure, and that's why you really need both. So it goes on to explain what backward and forward tarot is. I won't go too deeply into that now, because that's something that you can read about if and when you get the book. But it's another thing, how to look at tarot. You're building up, although you have tarot correspondences, available to you, or tarot meanings, you look at how they're what they mean to you and write your own words down, and you build up your own set of correspondences to add to the ones that are already historically, and not just historically, but that are there, the ones that would have been there for years, and you just build on that and add to it, and it all aids your tarot growth. So chapters from chapter 1 right through to chapter 6 are all about working with the deck, and all of them have activities that you can do to, like I say, just enhance your reading, refresh your reading, remind yourself of how things can be done if you're doing them differently. Chapter 7 is rituals, ethos and praxis, and this is taking us into how to use let's have a look. So if you have a working knowledge of your cards, it's time to take the show on the road and read for others. So this all goes onto ethos, little rituals you might have, and how you go forward. And it's a great guiding section, helping you moving forward. Chapter 8 is tarot magic, and what I like about this, it's got different little rituals and different things you could use tarot for. And there's one particular one that I did like myself. You've got Card of the Day spell, DIY Adventurer's spell. You have got the Tree of Life spell that brings in the Kabbalah Tree of Life. You've got the Unweaving Fate spell, which sounds really interesting. And then you've got the Sympathetic and Apotropaic magic. Apotropaic meaning having the power to avert evil influences or bad luck. That's what I'm going to be working on. And after this, it ends. You've got a final assignment of making a tarot talisman, which I think will be quite enjoyable, similar to the talisman and the sigils we made with under Nancy Hendrickson's book in the ancestral work that I've been doing. This finishes with a nice conclusion and references for other books, and there's an afterword which the author is telling you all about herself. And to be quite honest with you, I really do think this is going to be a book that could be really helpful for you and I, for someone, even as a gift to someone that's just setting out in the world of tarot, because it is so easy to follow. It's so enjoyable, and I'm like I say, I opened this morning, and I've worked my way through chapter 2 because it's just, once you start, you don't seem to be able to put it down. So, folks, that's the Living Tarot, and connecting the cards to everyday life for a better reading. So I hope you've enjoyed this review of this book. I shall be back shortly. I'm hoping to have another guest on the channel soon, and what the topic is yet remains to be seen. I still have to work that one out, but it shouldn't be too long, and we'll get another chat up and going. So thank you for watching. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll catch you again soon. And happy reading and exploring the tarot. There's nothing better than sitting quietly with your deck and just getting lost in the world of tarot. Bye now.